Okay, great. That was awesome. And hey, everyone, Dr. Lettingham's back after several meetings. And just to prove that I was not just ditching the conference, I had meetings related to advising and us trying to get a Doctor of Physical Therapy program. So lots of things are happening at UTRGV. Now, we have had this kind of trend of talking about, okay, what the student experience is really like. And like we did last year, who better to tell us about the student experience and making that transition from high school to college at different stages and what that means than some of our own students. So here in our last session, we have 6 of our UTRGV students from the School of Nursing. We've got some from the College of Health Professions as well. And rather than have me try to remember all their majors, I want to give you a couple of ground rules for how we're going to do this. And we're going to have an interactive talk with some different perspectives. I'm going to have each one of our presenting students, and they're all on camera, it looks like. And they're going to give a short introduction, their name, their major, where they went to high school, and how they chose their major. And then once we do that, we'll get into some more details, and I've got some canned questions that I really haven't told them. So we're going to have a pretty direct conversation from a wealth of knowledge from our students who have gone through the processes recently. So we're going to have a good conversation. To start us off, and I'm just doing this in no particular order, we'll start with Melissa. If you can do a quick intro. Just gonna.
Hello, hi everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melissa Garza, and I am currently a graduate student in the nursing program at UTRGV. I graduated with my bachelor's, what was back then Pan Am, in 2010. I graduated from Edinburgh High School many years ago. And I think nursing has always been my passion ever since I can remember as a child. My father used to always tell me, I remember, I was going to be a nurse when I grew up. I unfortunately don't have either of my parents right now, but I know that they're looking up in heaven and seeing me that I'm pursuing my education and making them proud.
Awesome, thank you. And we'll bounce around a little bit. Jaylene, you're on.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jaylene. So I just recently got my bachelor's in communication sciences and disorders, which is speech therapy. But unlike Melissa, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I just knew I had to get a diploma. My friend actually introduced me to speech therapy. Like I said, I had no idea what it was. I graduated from the Mathematics and Science Academy from Brownsville, and I feel like that did help me out. They did encourage a lot of advising, and they would always get back to you and how you were doing in your classes, and saw the ultimate goal of getting a degree in the university, not just a high school diploma. So yes.
Great, thank you. And let's jump to Olga.
Hi everyone, my name is Ola Campos. My major is kinesiology, minoring in health. I'm from Donna High School. I didn't know I did want to become a police officer at first when I started UTPA. I had no clue what type of careers there was or anything, so I was a bit lost. But I did have a friend who told me that she was going for kinesiology. I asked her what it was, and she told me it was coaching, so I really liked it. I knew that I love coaching, I love sports, so I switched my major into kinesiology, and hopefully this December I graduate with my bachelor's in kinesiology.
Great, and it's not hopefully, you will be graduating.
Yes, I will be graduating.
Excellent. Let's go to Viviana.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Viviana Quintero. I graduated this past May from the Biomedical Science program, and I graduated from high school from Hannah High School here in Brownsville, and I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in medicine. I still wasn't sure. I knew that I wanted to do medical school at that moment, and I went ahead and did what they call like the career pathway through medicine. And then after that, during my senior year, I took college courses with, back then that was what was it? It was not UT Pan Am. And that's when I started taking like dual enrollment classes, but also taking classes in the evenings with UTRGV. And then after that, once I graduated high school, I did biology, because that's usually something that they tell you, like if you want to study medicine, go through the biology route. They didn't tell me that there was a pre-med route. So I did waste one of my years in biology. And then when I was already at UTRGV, I found out about the B-Med program, and then I did the transition. And then other than that, it's been very well. I really like the program, and I already graduated, and I'll be attending UT Southwestern this coming fall for a master's in clinical nutrition.
Excellent. And we have 2 left. Let's go to Regina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Regina. I graduated from Roma High School in 2017. And right now I am in this fall will be my 3rd semester in nursing school. And I knew that I wanted to be somewhere in the medical field, but I didn't really know until my parents got sick. So both of my parents had cancer, and of course, me and my sisters were the ones that were taking care of them. And, and that's when you realize, like, this is something, like, I wasn't doing it just because I was their daughter, right? I really enjoyed doing it. And that's when I realized, you know what, this is for me. And also my sister, she is a great role model. She is also a registered nurse. She graduated 2018 from UTRGV, and right now she is working in the pediatrics department in Rio Grande Regional. So, I mean, it was always in the question. I was always into medicine, but I finally realized that I really enjoyed being in the part of the nursing, and I started asking around and figuring out what was the admission process, what classes I needed to take. And it was a hard process, but now that I'm here as a nursing student, I am really excited. I know this might be very scary for a lot of people working during the COVID pandemic, but for me, it's really exciting. Right now, I just received a job opportunity at DHR in the emergency department, and my first official day would be Monday. So I'm very excited for that, and I thank all my teachers for teaching me all the necessary skills that I need in order to prepare for this pandemic and taking care of people. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Regina. And our last panelist is Phyllis.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is
Phyllis, your connection's a little sketchy. Okay, Phyllis, we're going to jump in. Is it just my screen or?
No, it
Okay.
sounds, she's frozen as far as I can tell, but
Phyllis,
that's exactly how I woke up this morning.
Phyllis, you may need to reconnect. Your connection's not very stable. That's not any better.
Sorry.
Okay.
You may need to jump off and come back in.
I graduated in May.
It's still not any better.
See, she's muted and we can still hear her, so I don't know what's going on.
There's a lag with her connection. There we go. Well, that's okay. Phyllis will come back on and we'll get into it. But with our panelists that are here, and we'll work out the tech side there, you all shared a little bit of your stories, but you all are going through or have gone through the process of making that transition into UTRGV. And kind of the subtitle for this session is, what do I wish I would have known before I started? And we're not here to trash your high school upbringing or your experience. We're here to learn from, and I want you to kind of keep the answers in the back of your mind focused on what advice would you give to high school juniors and seniors who are getting ready to come to college? And you can do that from your personal experience. Some of you went through it very recently. Some of you went through it a little bit further back. But you've all made the transition to UTRGV and have gone through our programs. Some are going through right now. So my first question, and y'all can just jump in, is in what ways do you feel you were prepared in high school for college?
I can start myself. This is Melissa. So I graduated high school many years ago. And as far as I can remember, unfortunately, either I wasn't very involved with the counselors, or maybe the counselors were not very involved with the students. I'm not sure, and I don't want to say that it was the counselors, but I don't know really what the situation was. So as far as college preparedness in high school, and I'm going to go ahead and say I graduated, let me see if I can remember, 1997. It wasn't, I guess I can say for myself, didn't get very well prepared for college at all. I was pregnant when I graduated high school. So, you know, maybe that could have been some sort of distraction, of course. So I know now, because I currently have my daughter that, you know, when I was pregnant in high school, she is now 22 years old. She was very well prepared from her advisor. So I don't know if it's the more involvement that there is now, but I know her counselor at the high school where she graduated from was very involved. She also went through college courses while she was in high school, graduated with her associates in biology, has graduated from UTRGV at the age of 21 with her bachelor's, and is also going into pre-med. But I think the college preparedness now I feel is more involved than what it was back then. So I wasn't very much geared into any way. I myself, after graduating and, you know, having a child at a very young age, knowing myself that this was going to be a very difficult road for myself and for my child in the future, and it currently was, I said, you know, I need to prepare myself. You know, this is not good. This is not what I want to teach my child. I need to look into something. So I did start doing my basics at a community college because I needed to continue working, because I was at 25 years old with a child. And I started just getting my feet wet, you know, what I need to do. After getting my basics there for a few years, I did speak to an advisor there and told her what my plans were. And she's the one that advised me to, you know, speak to an advisor at Pan Am. And thank God the transition was very good. I think it was just getting the courage of doing that and putting that step forward and speaking to somebody, because they geared me very well on what classes I needed to take and how to do the transition from a community college into a university. So that transition was very smooth for me. Thank God I was able to transition and get my last classes that I needed to get to apply into the nursing program. I was very studious because I think I was at that age where I know I needed to do this for myself and for my child. So I had a very good GPA. I was able to apply into the nursing program and get accepted immediately, which was great. Went through the program well, graduated, and then I took some time off, of course, to try to gather myself, get my nursing experience, and then almost 10 years later, I applied into the master's program. And applying into the master's program was also, I want to say, I guess, an easy process. You know, it's just, again, putting that step forward, you know, pushing yourself to do something to better yourself and to better your family, and show them that it can be done. And just applying, you know, looking what we need to do, and then, you know, things just keep moving slowly by slowly as soon as you do want to do this for yourself and to better yourself. So the transition through the programs and through the college, the community college and the university I mean, I've had nothing but great experiences. I've had no trouble whatsoever. I encourage everybody, anybody that I speak to, you know, I think the push, and I think it's just the scare that students have, like, what do I do? Just call, just go into the university and put yourself in there and just ask questions. That's all you have to do. But I think that's what they need, just a little encouragement, and know that, you know, somebody's going to be there to help you.
Excellent. Someone else want to give a different perspective?
I can.
Go for it.
Okay, so it's been a long time since I entered college. I was in high school, I was in AVID. It was a type of program where they helped you get prepared for college. They helped you set up a binder. They helped me figure out what exams I had to take. So this program really helped me a lot, and it's still continuing from then on. But the one thing I did not know was the degrees that UTPA had, as far as from a high school transitioning to college. I can say I wasn't lost as most students, because my teacher did guide me all the way. I did talk to the counselors. I did everything way before I even entered college. So when I entered college, the only thing that I was lost in was in my career, because I knew I wanted to be a police officer. But as things were going more and more, I kind of changed my mind because I wanted to have a family. So I knew that I had to find something else for myself. Uh, like I said, I've always loved sports, and I was a baseball coach. I was a basketball coach. So I knew sports was my thing. I just did not know how to get there. So me wanting to become a police officer was since I was young. And as I went in, I wish I would have known what kinesiology was, because I spent almost 2 years and a half on criminal justice studying over it. And I wasted 2 years that I could have already been done, and well, I did stop college. So it took me 10 more years to go back, and I'm here now, and I'm ready to be done and continue my education. But the one thing I really wished was them explaining what type of careers they have there and what they do. But other than that, I can say I was really prepared, as far as I knew what was coming for me. I knew how to take notes. I knew how to prepare myself. But because of that class, it helped me guide through. And I was part of a program called Gear Up. So Gear Up really, really helped me in become, prepared for college. I visited so many different colleges. But the one thing I did notice that the colleges did not do was explain what type of careers they had. And that's one main thing that they should do. So that way we can be better ready, because there's a lot of information in different careers that can interest us, and we do not know that it's part of it. So I feel that if I would have known what kinesiology was at that time, I probably would have already had my master's. But, I'm not stopping now. So I can say one thing is, when they give that orientation to the students, I feel that they should give a little bit of what they're talking about in the careers, not just say, well, we have nursing and we just have criminal justice. Like, what can we do with criminal justice? What can we do with kinesiology? That way we can see, hey, because kinesiology, there's so many things that you can do, and I just thought it was coaching. So when I went into kinesiology, automatically I realized there's more than what there has to be offered. So that's one thing I can ask, for us to show our high school students coming into college, different type of ideas of what that degree can give you, so they can better see and say, you know what, this is exactly what I'm going for. I'm not wasting my time. I know what I want. And I know there's times where you go from wanting to be a teacher and then all of a sudden you want to be a cop. I can see the change on that, but I feel that if you do not know what's going on, your college years that you
talk about the current millennials, this current generation who is not able to really speak up for themselves. They are dependent on their parents and they don't know what questions to ask and they require more hand holding. That's just a general talk that's out there in a lot of different places. Sorry, my internet connection jumped a little bit. Someone should have thrown something at me. But anyhow, basically, the generation that's getting ready to come to college now, there are some that believe they require more hand-holding, more support. For our participants, would you agree with that statement? And what do you think we can do to better support and help them move along the process?
I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on this one.
Okay.
So I did, I'm more focused on the BMed program because I was ambassador for the BMed program. And I did notice that we would have a lot of VISD students come over to our campus and they got to see our research labs, everything that we have to offer for the program. And they weren't like that, like how you said, like the millennials right now, they need a lot of hand holding. I think they were very like involved and they know what they want to do. Like I feel like the high schools are now preparing them a lot better than they did like 5-8 years back or even more. They do ask a lot of more questions, maybe because there's also a lot of like graduate student to high school student interaction. So they're not as nervous to talk to like a professor, I guess. So we do get, I would get a lot of emails from students saying, hi, like I saw that you did a presentation today. What did you do? What did you like? Is research hard? Is it not hard? What did you think about the BMed program? Was genetics difficult or not? And I guess there's a little bit, I guess they feel more comfortable talking to a student than to asking a professor, like, is this program hard? They're gonna think like, well, it is hard. You know, are you not taking this seriously? So I guess that's where, that's what I noticed. And I do feel like when there's more of a student interaction, they feel a lot more comfortable reaching out to the students and asking them all these questions.
Okay, great. Jaylene, Regina, do you want to jump in on this one?
What was the question again?
The question was, that's okay. It's that time of the afternoon. With our current, there's belief that the current group of high school students, millennials, this generation that's getting ready for college, needs more hand-holding and more support. Would you agree with that? Or what can we do to better support them?
I can go ahead and jump in. Like Viviana said, I feel like for many students, the reason why they are like, oh, I need hold handing, or for me, in my experience, is that it's because I don't know, right? So as an individual, like when you don't know, you feel like, oh, I'm gonna do this wrong. I'm not going to be able to apply to the program on time. So in that sense, I feel like for counselors or teachers in high school, right, for them to kind of explain what the process would be from going from high school to college, as well as to maybe even to when you're going to apply. That would obviously be with university counselors, but I feel like it's always, you gotta teach the students how to not be afraid to ask questions, because if you have a question, obviously you don't know the answer, and somebody will help you to guide you, and that way you can go ahead and start building confidence and be able to start doing things on your own. So for me, I guess that would be to kind of, I guess, boost a little bit their confidence and tell them like, hey, you can do this, like this is easy for a lot of people. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think that's one of the most important things that you can tell current high school students.
Okay, great. Jaylene?
Yes. Well, in my opinion, it might sound bad, but I think the upcoming seniors are a lot more dependent, I would say, just because there's so much more. There's YouTube, there's other stuff where they're not really intrigued to school as much as like I was when I was in high school. My little sister is, for example, she needs my mom for everything. She can't do anything. She forgets deadlines. She forgets a lot of important dates for school, which we even asked her, did your teacher not go over it? Did you have trouble like understanding it? But I think it's just in the air, like what we're living in today. I think they don't really focus on what am I going to do for the rest of my life? What is there offered in college? I don't think that's engraved as much as it was when I was a student. So I think Viviana was mentioning, I think children or students, I'm sorry, I'm 23 years old. I think they would learn a lot more if it was coming from, I would say, a younger generation, because they don't really see, they don't see it as crucial or how serious it should be when it's coming from an adult. I think they would take it a lot better if it's coming from someone that they can relate to, someone that they're not scared talking to. And yeah.
I have something to add. There, like she said, is true. Nowadays, kids do need help, doing a lot more because I don't know, like she said, it's different generations. But I can say that, well, at least for our area in Donna, I believe that college is become way better for kids now because they offer all these programs that I wish that they had for me when I was in high school. And I believe that these programs help the students want to go to college, want to do things. And, I feel that it should be from high school to college. I think that high school should make it a recommendation that each student should know, have a little course, per class, what college is, what, you need to do. I believe that back then, what they would do is just grab a couple of students and guide them, but wouldn't guide everyone. And I think everyone needs that guidance because, like I said, there's a lot more careers that, they're graduating with their certificates or they're graduating in different areas with college credits, and that has benefit. I wish I really had that back in the day. So I can see a little bit of a difference, but I can say that what high schools need to do is focus on everyone and not just on some.
Excellent. And we've got many of these different perspectives and ideas, and today's students are different. And I've been teaching now in higher ed for 16, 18, something like that years. I lost count. But I want you all, the panelists, to go back. What was the best advice you got while you were in high school? And Phyllis, you're back on. So if you want to join us, I'll let you do an intro. Let's see if your internet's back to working better.
Is it going through? Good afternoon. Can you hear
It's
me?
still lagging really bad.
Is any better?
Nope. I don't know. I think your connection's a little too unstable.
Y'all go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. But what's the best piece of advice you got in high school that helped you get ready for college?
I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, great, Regina.
For me, I think the best advice that was given to me was to be active in extracurricular activities. When I was in high school, I played basketball, volleyball, track, and then I was also in student council, national. I was in a lot of extracurricular activities. And what that helped me was that I was able to learn how to manage my time since I was in high school. So that helped me a lot, right? I was doing my homeworks on time, I was studying on time, and then I was still keeping up with practices and games and all of that. So whenever college came and I had all these classes, I was able to manage my time efficiently. And as a result, like I got for my nursing, I had a 4.0 GPA, and that helped me a lot, as well as because usually when you're in college you also need to work. My 2 years as an undergrad student in nursing, or my first 2 basic years, I worked in the with the IRB in office research compliance there in UTRGV, and I was doing 19 hours a week. I had like 15 to 18 hours course classes, right? And I mean, I was able to manage everything with my work, school, social life, and I think I did pretty well on that. And I think that a lot of the students, especially right now in high school, they're on their phones, they're like super glued to like TikTok, Instagram, and all of those. And I feel like showing them that being active with people, and knowing how to manage the time can be a very, very good way for them to transition from high school into college. And I know, for example, some of my friends, they're always like, hey, Regina, how are you doing all these things? Like you're in nursing school, you work, you do all these things. Like, how is it? Like, I'm not able to do that. And I said, well, like, I mean, I don't know. I've always been like this and since high school. And I think that's the best advice we can give the kids that are right now in high school, is just to like learn how to manage your time and to prioritize what's more important. If you have an exam for your organic chemistry class or your chemistry class, but then you also have a hangout with your friends, like, I know we all want to go with your friends, but in reality, you can hang out with your friends any other time. Like, it's not, you have to learn how to prioritize, like, hey, this is for my future right now. This is what is important for me. And if I don't do well, I'm not going to be able to go get into the nursing program. I'm not going to be able to go to med school. It's just things that small things can really make a difference on how a student can perform academically.
Great, thank you for that. Someone else want to jump in on that one, Jaylene or Melissa?
Yes, I'll go ahead. So my advisor from MSA actually, I would say, pretty much saved my life, because when starting my freshman year, like I said, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I remember her telling me, whatever it is, just make sure that you enjoy it and you love it, because if not, you're just going to waste your time. So I do thank her for that, because I do have several friends that have bachelor's degrees and are not even working. Or completely went to something else, wasted the 4 years of their education. Also the tuitions, we know it's not cheap. So it was money gone to waste. I would say just making sure that giving the students the right information to make sure that they actually enjoy what they're going to be doing, and the money that they're going to be wasting to get to where they want to be is crucial for life, I would say.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes. Well, my high school years are not as recent as all the other young ladies, unfortunately. My high school years were many years ago. So I can't really remember much, but I do always remember one of my teachers, and actually she was a Spanish teacher, that always encouraged us to continue our education, to whatever it is that we put our minds to, it can be done. It's just how much dedication we have and how much we want it, because no matter what your goals are, it can be done. And I could always remember those words whenever I was, applying for nursing school, whenever I was applying now for my master's. It's like, it's true, it can be done. Anybody can really do whatever they set their goals to be. Is they need to be dedicated to what they need to be focused, and see how they see their future.
Excellent, that's a great point. And with the next question, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. We talked about advice, and again, we've had those teachers, mentors. Some of us had that connection that helped us. And we can all point back to that. And some of us just had to be outspoken. And we know that with today's students, those who are really engaged and active, they're going to go places. But there are a lot of students out there who do not realize the potential. What else can we do in high school, or perhaps what was done in your high school, to open your eyes to the possibilities of college? I mean, were there mentoring programs? Here in the chat, we've got a statement from Ms. Rondon talking about a peer mentoring program. Did any of you experience something like that as a way to kind of help people get ready for college?
I think something that really helped me during high school, and I will be forever grateful, is for the program of Gear Up. I feel like they always did like their best to just help us in school. They paid for summer classes, they paid for school supplies, all of that, and that really helped me as well, because they would give like tours. Hey, let's go to this university. And like for many of my students, their parents classmates, sorry, our parents didn't go to college, and they really didn't know the importance of going to school and reaching higher education. So with Gear Up, they took us to universities. They took us to TAMU. They took us to, of course, like the close ones, right? But they still exposed us to us, and they encouraged us to take classes. And I think that's really, really good for all the high school students right now. I'm not sure if Gear Up is still going on, but I know that I am so grateful for that. I wish I could like send letters to whoever organized it, because they were really, really helpful to me and to most of my classmates as well.
Excellent. The Garrett programs are still in full force. Region 1 has a Garrett program. UTRGV's got a Garrett program. And those experiences are great, but not everyone gets to have that type of experience. One of the goals of Pathfinders is to help close the knowledge gap between UTRGV and our high school teachers and counselors, so that they're well informed and can then share that information with their students and be able to tell them about all the different programs that we offer and help guide them as they make that decision. So rather than me ask a couple of questions, I know there's some great comments popping up in the chats, but are there any questions from our attendees that you would like to chat with our students about? Okay, some people may be typing, but really, with your experiences, and I'm gonna ask a very pointed question here. What's the one thing you really wish you would have been told about college that you didn't learn until you got here?
Ooh, I have something very important.
Okay.
Something that I wish I would have known is the website Rate My Professor, because sometimes I remember I took this college algebra class, and I just signed up. Like I had no idea how to choose a class. Like I had nothing. So I just signed up, and turns out like half of my classmates were failing. I think like only 5 of us out of I think like 60 passed. I got a B on that class, and I think only one person got an A, and the rest were like B's and C's. And I was like what? This is like I was really shocked, and I was like how? Well, I mean, you just see the professors and you just don't know like which one is actually going to teach you, because of course everybody wants to learn, and we want to learn as students. We want to learn good material, and we want professors that want to teach you and that care about you learning, not just completing the assignments, but like actually grasping the material and being able to relate it to life or to whatever, or to your major. So I was like horrified with that situation. So then later on, I figured out like, hey, you could actually like see the reviews from the professors, and with that, I managed to always like get the best professors. Well, if I could, right, to always try to get the best professors that would teach you and that will really, really, really want you to learn all the material. So that's something that really like I always like have to tell whoever asks me questions and like go check, because I mean, I don't know, you just see their name but you don't know if they actually like their job. A lot of professors, they really don't care. So I think that's something really, really important that I wish someone would have told me the first time I took a university course.
That's a great piece, and I don't like to look at rate my professor. My ratings are good, but sometimes if somebody got mad, it just goes down. One more response. We actually have 3 really good questions here on the chat box. First one from Mr. Baron. How do you schedule themselves to deal with all the assignments? How do you manage all of that in high school and now college? And Regina's holding up her planner like, this is my personal Bible.
Yes, I started using a planner the first semester of college, and I always, every time, the first day, they have all the like with the syllabus, with the dates and last day to drop and the test date and all of that. Like I would put it every single time, and that's why I was like, okay, let me see what's today. And I actually have everything right now. But that has helped me a lot, keeping up with a planner and updating it every semester or whenever I have to.
Excellent. Jaylene, Viviana, how did y'all deal with that? Melissa, one more person jump in.
I wouldn't really use a planner. I would use my phone. So I would put like the calendar invites on here, alarms. Like the same thing that you would put on a planner, I would put on the calendar invites on the iPhone, and that way I get a reminder the day before, like, hey, you have an exam tomorrow, or you have to study for this, you need to study for that, or you have a meeting coming up. That way it's, you can, because that's just how I am. I'm very busy. So if I put it on a planner and I leave it in my backpack, the next time I open it up, I'll probably forget. So I'd rather just get the little reminder on my phone, like, hey, you have a meeting in like 15 minutes. Oh, okay, let me run to it. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Your just planning is just more on an electronic device that you use every minute.
Okay. One of our other questions was, and I really like this from Mr. Flores, what would you tell a student that feels that their story isn't good enough to stand out in a sea of high-achieving students in a competitive program?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Okay, so this question, it did hit hard because both of my parents were actually high school dropouts. So I am a first generation college student. And I think growing up, did go through a lot of more hard situations than like my friends and peers did. And I think I just personally used all that negative experience into like positive. I remember my mom telling me, work hard so you can have a better life than we did. If your hard work's going to pay off someday, and of course, never give up. So I think I would just encourage them to not continue the same experiences and situations and skip that to another generation that they're going to have, and instead make a difference and just do something with your life, I think.
I would like to
go
add
ahead.
to that, to Mr. Flores' question. Sometimes I feel like students focus more on other people rather than themselves. So for me, to that advice would be like, don't worry about the sea of high achieving students. Worry about yourself and how you could become the best student or the best candidate for that program. And you would do that by obviously focusing on your school and making sure that you're actually learning the concepts and being prepared, showing up to class prepared, getting good night's sleep, eating your breakfast, keeping up with all that, because sometimes when you're in college, times are like hard and you have like only 30 minutes to eat, and sometimes you don't eat. But I feel like in that sense, it's good for you to focus on yourself, right? And don't compare yourself to anybody else, because everybody is different. And if you do that, if you compare like, oh, this is my friend John, he has always gets A's, like, why can't I do that? It's like, you can do it. Yes, you are capable of doing it. You just need to focus on yourself and be like, hey, if I want to go into the nursing program, I need to get my things ready and be prepared and focus on what I need to do in order to achieve that goal that I have.
Yeah, I could agree with her, because I can say I'm one of those students that, well, 10 years ago, I'm not going to lie, school wasn't, it was just something that I got in to make my parents proud of me, that I got into college, that I started, for them seeing my career. But I can say that focusing on yourself is the main priority. I was one of those type of persons that just cared about other people, never focused on myself. My grades were low. I just doubted myself so much. And I can say now, yes, years have passed, but I've realized that, you can do anything you believe that you can do. And I do have two friends that pushed me and encouraged me. They were twins. One was valedictorian, the other one was salutatorian. And, one became a doctor, the other one became a lawyer. And they did tell me, you got to focus on yourself, because people, they're not going to do anything for you. You have to do it for yourself. And learning this, I can say I wish I would have done so much more when I was younger and focused and did for myself, but I just focused on what my friends wanted to do. And yes, I was one of those high school people that went in and didn't focus. I was like, oh, I have homework, I'll do it later. And, I can say that it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't. I mean, I see my friends graduate and I'm like over here, not even with a degree yet, So she's right. You have to focus on yourself. If you need help, anything, don't be afraid to ask questions. I was one of those people because I felt like people would make fun of me because I didn't know. But at the end of the day, now I ask questions. I push myself. I took leadership conferences, and I learned different things. And I can say time management, planning, getting yourself out there and doing it for yourself is what makes you succeed. And yes, your family, you see them, and I will be the first to graduate from my family in college. My dad was a high school dropout. My mom just graduated from STC, but she didn't do anything with her career. And that's why when I was doing criminal justice and I switched to kinesiology, I can tell you the two differences is knowing that I wanted to be a coach, it pushed me a lot more. And I can see my grades. It went from having C's and B's to having straight A's. And this past spring, I took 6 courses. And I didn't feel I was going to get straight A's because I doubted myself, but I didn't give up and I pushed myself. And I got straight A's. I got straight A's and I took 6 classes, and I told myself, if I can do it now, I can achieve anything I want if I put myself to it. And that's what we have to teach these high school students, that never give up. I mean, if it's something that you don't like, there's never a time limit. You can change. You can go into another career. You can, jump into something else. But one thing is never give up, because that right there is you're letting yourself down. Besides your family, you're letting yourself down. And one thing that encouraged me the most was my little boy. I have an 8-year-old, and he pushes me to the top. You know, he encourages me. He tells me things that I wouldn't even tell myself. So I can say pushing yourself and doing what you got to do, but do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Because in the long run, you're going to be grateful. Like now I know when I graduate and I get a job, I'm not going to feel like it's a job. I'm going to feel like I'm having fun because that's what I love to do and I'm getting paid for it. So I can say, you know, don't give up. Don't give up. And that's the one thing that a lot of kids try to follow, or students, should I say, try to follow their friends because they feel that they're going to go on the same pathway. But I can say about 30 of us got together at UTRGV, then all of a sudden we all split within the year and a half. So at the end, you have yourself, and you know all you got to do is plan, get yourself prepared, and move forward.
Excellent, and that's good advice. And we're running short on time. We have one question left, and it's actually from Dr. Valdez. And this is great. And she's asking, and we're going to have all of you give a 1-minute response. I'm going to set the timer, then I'll mute you. But a very quick response of what do you think is the top or the best advice that you as students can give our high school teachers and counselors?
I'll go ahead and start. I can honestly say that encouragement, give words of encouragement to all your students and let them know that it can be done no matter what. Words that disencourage them, sometimes maybe words when the teachers might be upset or overwhelmed with certain students, might really bring them down. So always think positive, no matter, I mean, what situation they're in. I can understand how sometimes high school students can be difficult, but always think the positive route and see how you can improve their life somehow by just having positive words.
Excellent.
My turn. Okay, so the advice that I would give is to see the students individually and not so much as like a graduating class. Because like I said, I think that was maybe a problem that I saw with a lot of my friends and myself, is that they just wanted kind of to get us out of high school with a high school diploma. And I think there's a lot more than that. And I think that would ultimately help everyone individually, like in the long run. But thank you, everyone.
All right, Viviana?
I think that the most important thing is for students to know and go through their self-growth more than anything. So to focus on something that they want, focus on what your end goal is, and to not worry about how much it's going to cost, what like how much you need in order for it to succeed. Whatever you want, you're going to get it. So to just not focus on that, to know that failure leads to success. You need to be able to fail in order to learn from it, in order for you to keep moving up.
All right, Regina?
So what I wrote was a good advice from us to the counselors, right, is to always encourage your students and to actually listen to what they want. So if they say like, oh, I want to be a nurse, and be like, oh, okay, well, what type of nurse, or what else do you want to do? Do you want to get your master's? Do you want to go into get your doctorates? And also I think that it's very important to, like, I think some of my colleagues mentioned, show them what the jobs do, because at first I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist, and then I wanted to do this and that, and I just didn't really know what I wanted until I realized it, right? And also to have patience, because I know it can be really, really hard. Like my class was like 300 and almost 400, I think, students. So imagine like seeing all those kids, and it's just like it's very long, right? But just have patience and really, really try to help them what they want, because many of them, for instance, like I don't have my parents anymore. Sometimes I feel like I don't have who to talk to, right? And sometimes that's the case for high school students, right? They don't have a support, right? So sometimes they may have like their I guess self-defense of like, oh, I don't want to go to college, but it's like maybe they just need a little bit more guidance, right? And also to focus, tell them to focus on themselves, because that's very important, to not compare themselves to anybody else, and to always ask questions.
Excellent. Olga.
As for me, I would feel that they were saying the counselor should get with every individual, not into a group, and see what they want to do, what do they want to pursue. And, you know, sometimes it's very difficult because a lot of students have different, I could say, lifestyles. So it makes it different for them. But as far as the counselor being able to advise them, I would feel that they would show them, you know, this is what college, you know, gets you, what you can do, what you need to do. And if you feel like you can't do it on your own, then, you know, we can get you somebody that can guide you through that route, and you're not alone. Just know that you're never alone. And once you enter that college, and if you still need to continue with more advisement or what you need to do, you know, I feel that the college should interact with it. You know what I mean? Like, be like, you know what, we have this student, he's not so sure of how he's going to do. He needs motivation, because some people do need motivation. And I feel that a counselor could do that for the student. And I believe that every student should have like a folder to where they, you know, what they, their ideas. Everybody should write down their ideas of what they feel they need to do, what pathway, and what they're scared of. You know, in the long run, the counselor needs to encourage them, needs to tell them that anything is possible. And even though their lifestyle is not as perfect as others, you know, I feel that that shouldn't bring them down, because I've known stories where, you know, there's some kids, that students who are homeless and still make it through college. So there's literally no excuse for them not to. It's just some people need encouragement. Like me, I need motivation. That's just one thing I need for myself. And my family gives it to me. My friends give it to me. You know, my teachers, my professors, I speak to them and they give me the encouragement I need. So I can tell you, you know, there's one professor that has guided me for 10 years since I've been there till now. And I'm so grateful to her, because I wouldn't have been where I'm at right now. So the one thing that counselors could do is guide every student, make a folder for them, and see what options they have.
And that's excellent advice. And I know Phyllis is having connection issues, but I want to thank all of our participants. I know all of our conference attendees are probably zoomed out. It's been a long day, even with that hour break, but this is and has been a great experience. So to Olga, Viviana, Jaylene, Phyllis, Regina, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. I know we wish we could have done this live in person in a room, but the Zoom atmosphere has become our norm as we adjust with this. So thank you again. And as we wrap up today, don't forget that there are a host of videos online on an overview of pathways to health, dual enrollment, background matters, all of our programs at UTRGV in the Division of Health Affairs. Take some time to view those. And I guess we will see you all tomorrow to wrap up the day with social work, communication sciences, and occupational therapy. Dr. Alvarado, Isela, anything to add to our closing thoughts?
No, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
No, I'm good. I just want to thank everybody for participating today, especially the students that had such great insight for our high school advisors, teachers, and counselors. And for everybody that is on, thank you for being here today. And we hope to see you tomorrow for our last day, which is day 3 of the Pathfinder Academy. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send them through the chat or email us. Thank you.